First of all, say it's a real honour to be asked to come to this conference. I've been involved for a lot of years now, and it's really quite important to me because of the role that I've, Chair, been doing for many years, usually through the UN. I'm still involved in the case of missing persons. And, we all forget about this sometimes, but when we through all this dilemma, and Steve said it a little bit earlier in his address, we all know that this regime is failing and its legs are not there to last for very much longer. But the pieces that have been lost and the heartache that's been brought will take generations to put right. And what I'm saying that we should finalise this and finish this and get on with the job of that, which will take generations more. Can I, at the start, really pay tribute to all the staff of the NCRI, and both in London and Paris. Those are the ones I know particularly well, who work night and day. I can tell you that because as a politician, and of course Steve, many others in this room will know, they pester you from night to day, from day to week and week to month, time and time and time again. But they get the results because Iran is one of the biggest, highest items on the agenda of anywhere in our parliaments. But it's a big issue. But the biggest thanks of all need to be paid for those people who are trapped in Ashraf 3. They're the ones in the front line. We must not forget them, but we should give them every support we possibly can, because their future is the winning of the whole of this task. Now, as I say, the world is changing. Politics is changing. When you look at the maps that we've been shown today, you see parliaments around the world are lining up, parliamentarians around the world, to support a free Iran. And the people they're leaving behind are the leadership of all of those parliaments who have yet to come forward. Parliamentarians are there, organisations are there, but governments are hesitant for one reason or another about whether they should be doing. Now, whether that's about trade, whether it's about harmonious relations with past allies and all the rest of it. Politics shouldn't be based on that. It should be simply based on right and wrong. That's the reality. And the reason is it isn't there. And can I just usher a word of criticism at the start? What has happened in the last few days in France is a disgrace to diplomacy. We have seen President Macron engage in a task of contacting a foreign part, which is supposed to be embargoed, and liaising for over an hour with him about stopping this conference, despite the fact he represents a country which has had a revolution to make sure that built into their constitution is the people's right to have meetings and have freedom of speech. It's a disgrace and it shouldn't be allowed. But the one thing that I have examined over the last few years of being involved in this, that the most soundest plan of all is being that drafted up by Madam Rajavi. It's absolutely excellent and to the point. As an ex-minister, an ex-member of Parliament, I've seen many of these plans over the years. But the one she's put forward for a free and just solution to the crisis in Iran fits every task. And I say that not just because of the parliamentarians and governments I've met on the issue around the world, but also the European Parliament and the Council of Europe. Council of Europe, which has 47 member country parliamentarians, endorsed it fully at a number of meetings there. And what we've got to assume is that at the moment, there's only one rightful just solution for Iran. It's that proposed forward and supported by many governments, albeit tentatively. But what we need is action. We need action so they can show that they are accepting that things have to be done and they have to be immediate to find a solution to Iran. And the only way they're going to do that is to step forward. To step forward as parliamentarians are doing all over Europe, all over the world, and take a chance and make a decision. It's no good standing idly by and not do anything at all. You have to take action. And the only rightful way to do it is to approach the only plan on the table, which everybody's accepting, and say, we now have to forge relationship to the NCIR and of Madam Rajavi and talk to her about this plan. And having done that, take the next step and enter meaningful relationships so that it can set up to start up the progress towards the endeavour, which is going to be very soon. And I warn them, the tent is filling up with parliamentarians around the world, and they're not in it yet. And you know what happened to parliaments if governments don't get on board with the parliamentarians. Now, there's a reason I'm saying that, because some of them might say diplomatically, it's not possible because of other allies and other decisions we've got. Well, it's been done before. We have a situation in Ukraine where they're wholeheartedly involved in that for one reason or another, quite rightly in my opinion. They've done it in Kosovo, they've done it in Bosnia, they've done it in Sudan, they did it in Kuwait, and the list goes on and on and on. So the decision has been made before. It's not a new decision. It's there. All that takes is will. That's the thing. Because I'm going to end by this because it's very straightforward. The whole of the solution to the Iranian problem won't be cured by duplicit diplomacy. It certainly won't be achieved by appeasement. Not at all. It'll only be achieved by meaningful alliances. And that means they have got to get out of bed and get to the table and start to negotiate with Madam Rajavi, which, as I've said, it's the only plan on the table. Because what we're all here today about is to try and find a full and just and meaningful solution to the plight of Iran. And I said to you at the beginning, and I'm going to end with this, if you think the job's over when Iran is free and got a free government, think again. That's when the tasks start. You have millions of displaced people, you've got hundreds of thousands of people missing, and you've got a lot of people whose examination of their circumstances towards their death have got to be undertaken. And in my time, I've examined something in the region of 18 million cases. And I tell you this, in case of Iran, it's going to take generations. Thanks very much.